I know it's been a minute, but I'm back, and it's time to get straight into it, boy. No need for introductions. Podcast with no name, and today we're gonna talk about kids, bro. My heart just hurt when I said that. I don't know, something about kids that just scare me. You have to raise another human being for at least 18 years at most, and then you have to see what they grow into. You gambling. Like, it's the kids is literally a gamble. No matter how much you think you put into that child, how much information you tell that child, how much love and care you put into that child could turn out into anything. Anything at all. Think about it. For example, I mean, this is a bad comparison, especially now talking about kids, but like, imagine R. Kelly's mom. She, maybe, I'm not sure, maybe there was like abusive history, we're not sure, but let's say she did put a lot of love into him. What she would have imagined her son would have became one of the best R&B singers, if not the best R&B singer of all time, and then just turned out into a monster touching kids. That's wild, right? Ain't nobody thinking that about their child. Ain't nobody thinking about that. But I am. I am. Nah, but there's so much possibilities when you have a child. It's like you're opening yourself to a new world. You're opening the possibilities of your child becoming anything. And by anything, I mean anything. And that's a fear of mine. It's like, what if my child becomes a monster? What if my child becomes a success? What if my child becomes, it's just something to think about, something to be on your mind. And another thing is that having kids is such a responsibility. They did a survey either 2 days or yesterday, I'll say 2 days ago, that raising a child costs, I'm talking about a kid, by the way, not like the full lifespan. A kid, on average, costs $300,000. I mean, there's some wealthy people in this world, but really, who's sitting around with $300,000 in their bank waiting to raise a child? That's expensive. And it's only going to go up because of inflation. That's a dedication right there. When you have that child, you got to know that your life is not yours anymore. It's not just your life. You don't have the option to be selfish anymore. It can't be just you and your partner. You can't just focus on you. You have to take care of that child, because you're the one that brought it into this world. You chose to keep it, you chose to give birth to it, and you chose to let it grow. And that child, if you want to admit it or not, is a part of you. It's literally a part of your flesh. Walking around, growing. Bruh, it's literally a piece of you getting older. It's like those monster movies where like the monster separates and then another monster grows out of like the small piece of skin, or like get what I'm saying. It's crazy to think about, but yeah, that's exactly what that child is. And especially today, kids are complicated. Kids are very complicated. Man, you have to have certain things that go with them. And I feel like kids today come in sets. Smart kids, because a lot of times these kids is coming out smart as hell. Oh my God, starting businesses, knowing how to use technology. A lot of these days, these kids are smart as hell. And then there's the kids that cause trouble, the troublemakers. Oh my God, I seen them firsthand. Bro, kids knocking stuff over. They already standing up and walking and running around 2 months in. They speaking at an early age. They grabbing shit. They pulling stuff down. They already strong. Oh my God, the way these kids is growing. Be 14, 6'2". Bro hasn't hit puberty fully yet, and he's already almost an NBA player level height. Like, God damn. And I'm saying this as a tall person. And and then there's kids who are introverted. A lot of introverted kids are starting to show up more and more. Don't speak a lot. It's hard to socialize. And I feel like the pandemic has played a part into that. Gradually, strong part. And that's who I continue to see is the set of kids that's being, and then the kids are easily influenced. Ooh, especially in high school and middle school, I've been noticing these kids pick up on stuff fast. They're easily influenced by what they see on the media. No matter how much, unless you completely separate your child from the internet, which I don't think you can do. I don't think that's possible. As long as your child has a life outside, he goes to school, or she goes to school, or they go to school, they're gonna see the internet, and it's gonna impact them. It's like you can't even protect, or not even protect. You can't even cover your child from it no more. That's not how that works. Sorry. If you think your child is just completely clean, squeaky clean, and they're at an age where it's like they can understand things, like once they hit age 5, I'm telling you, your child knows something and they're not telling you completely. If they haven't done it yet, it's gonna start. I promise you. That's just how life is. You gotta accept it. And the internet plays a part. Easily influenced. Drill. We could talk about the drill scene. Kids is already getting sturdy quick as hell. They just easily influenced. They dancing between the leg. They creating new moves. And I see them, and I'm not shitting on it. It's good. Yeah, it's a dance. I like it. But then they start going into other things. Sometimes not everything on the internet being put out is good, but it's that easy to get attention from them. They be like, oh yeah. The more you say things, the more they just start to pick up on it. That's like their foundation. Their foundation is watching people on the internet, the YouTubers smash their past. Who knows? A lot of kids already started growing up watching that. And that's the base of who they are. Think about it for a second. Sounds crazy, but it's true. It's very true. Damn. Did we fail already? Nah, that's wild. But something to think about. And having a kid is it's scary. You're scared for them because the world is not safe, especially elementary schools, middle schools, high schools. The government has been doing good protecting them from school shooters and stuff like that. They've been failing. Sorry, they've been failing the kids. They've been failing the kids. The kids always have school shooting drills. At some point they give teachers guns in some states. They giving teachers guns to arm themselves. It's like, yo, okay, how about you just protect the schools though? In a way where it's harder for people to access guns, because there's no reason a boy that freshly turned 18 or a boy that's 17 should be going to a different state in the Midwest picking up an AR-15. Because what's the point of having an AR-15 in the middle of Milwaukee? What's the need? We're not in a war zone in Milwaukee. Why do you have that gun? And then when he travels his way down to a middle school, which is crazy enough because the boy is 17, he's not in middle school, which is disturbing enough. Why do that? Why even let that slide? But it's just scary. Thinking about how these kids are getting used to because I'm a teenager, so technically I'm a kid too. I'm not 18 yet. We are getting used to violence in that manner. It should not be normal for kids to be taken away from their parents at age 8 because some dumb teenager got his feelings hurt. That had nothing to do with it. A kid whose future could have improved the United States or the world. Taken away because your girlfriend broke up with you. That's an L. That's a complete L. Just garbage. And so also, I think that kids are a gamble. Like I said, a gamble. Kids could turn into anything, and I'm scared. I'm scared. If I do have a kid, will the kid will the kid listen to me? Will the kid listen to me at all? It's influenced by other people, other things, and it's like you have no control. You gave birth to something that doesn't listen to you. It's kind of crazy. Now think about it. I get it what parents see. I definitely do, but also, okay, boom. You have to observe yourself. People my generation are definitely seeing this now, especially mine. A lot of us are realizing we don't want kids. Now I'm gonna give you a couple reasons. Right now, this is one of my reasons. This is like reason number one for me. We realize a lot of our parents are not fully ready or prepared or were prepared to have kids mentally. Maybe they had the money, maybe they had the job, but something was wrong up there in the head. Emotionally unstable, mentally unstable parents having kids, and they're hurting their kids because their parents were mentally stable and they were emotionally unstable or financially unstable. Yep, it caused a chain of effects. When you think about it, grown people be saying, "Oh, my mother and my father never told me once that they loved me, but I know they did." Excuse me? Excuse me? Wait, hold on, hold on. You know, that type of stuff. Just ask your parents about how their parents treated them, their relationship with their parents, and I promise you, you're gonna be shocked. Well, maybe you won't, cause you already know. Now, imagine how that affects us. We're the generation that's, I guess, we're trying to better ourselves. We're becoming more aware of the problems and how we hurt people. And so, before I become a parent, I want to be financially stable. I make that completely clear. I make sure if I don't have a house, I have the money to buy a house, and I have a really good job, and I know I can take care of my partner and that child. And I only want one kid, by the way, because again, I'm not crazy on kids. Another thing is that I'm emotionally and mentally stable. I know that I won't affect that child negatively. I won't hurt its mind, hurt its life. I wouldn't do stuff to make the child feel unwanted. I wouldn't give it emotional baggage, trauma, dump my trauma onto that child, or give that child new traumas, because that's what a lot of these parents have done to us or are doing to their kids now. ADHD, anxiety, all these mental health problems are could come from your parents or come from stuff that your parents put onto you or have given to you. I know, because I have a problem myself. I pick up on some of my mom's stuff. I know I did. I know I picked up on some of my mom's issues. And it sucks to think about. And now I have to find a way to deal with them. Because I can't have a kid and then put them through something similar. Like, you know? I don't want to do that. I don't think that child deserves it. I bring that child into this world, and the child deserves a fresh start. No problems. I know life will get hard. Not everything is going to be perfect, but at least try to make it as clean as possible. You know, that child don't deserve it. It really doesn't. Another thing about having kids is that what my generation, well, I won't say my generation, it's expensive. It's very expensive. Having a kid costs a lot of money. And a lot like if you really want to have a free spirit, if you're a free spirited person or you're a person who wants to live a certain lifestyle, having a kid is not for you. You just gotta admit it. Having a kid is not for you, especially if you're not there financially. If you're financially irresponsible, having a kid, I don't suggest it. That child is starving, or there's times where you out late night and that child's sitting there with little to nobody to be there with them, or by themselves or wandering the street because you out. If you want to live that type of life, why would you really want a child then? You're just creating hardships for the child and possibly for the world. Possibly for the world, man. Because you don't know what a person, like a child left unattended with the world to teach them what to do. That's scary. We don't know what's going to happen. But yeah, it costs money. I'll say, in my opinion, at least over $1 million to have a child from 0 to like 18, 19, 20. Cost over $1 million. Remember, college money. The child when it's a baby, the formula, the boogers, the preschool. If you're in a place with no free preschool, you gotta pay for school, all that. Gotta think about it. Teenage years, you gotta get them their clothes, their phones. Especially now, you have to raise a child with a phone. And phones on average is costing like $400. That's wild. And it's only getting more expensive. The world is only costing more money. Then when they get their first job, then you might have to get them a car. A lot of times you do have to get them a car. Or maybe they buy their own. Maybe things are changing now. But yeah, it's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. And the older they get, it's like the more money you have to spend. The more money you definitely have to spend. Yeah, they're not as picky, or they're not as like crybaby about it. But yeah, you don't buy as much things, but the things you got to buy are expensive. Like yeah, I don't have to buy a bunch of toys for him for Christmas anymore, but I gotta buy him this laptop that costs $2,000 because he needs to go to college. Yeah, there's no joke there. That's it's the real stuff. And I feel like if you are in a situation where you know you can't afford to have a child, don't have one. I'm going to say this again. If you're in a situation where you know you don't have the money to have a child, I suggest don't have one. Because you just creating kids who's struggling. That's not fair. That it really isn't. It's not fair. It isn't. I'm sorry. That's my opinion. You got a kid that's like pretty much going through hardships for no reason that they didn't ask for. That's not their fault because their parents was unprepared. You can't do that to them. I don't like that. And then when these kids turn out to be other things, or they turn out bad, or they turn out good, maybe they will. But if they turn out bad, it's like, oh, why is my kid acting like this? You set them up with no foundation, little to no foundation. Of course they're gonna end up in a hard and a rock place. You left them in the dirt. You gave birth to them in the dirt. You can't expect anything else. And that's again messed up. Messed up. But I feel like kids will be the future. They are the future. They're gonna either save this world or destroy it even more than we have. It's their decision. Ooh, yeah, it's their decision. Cause right now, my generation, we're starting to become like the adults of the world. Now we starting to shift responsibility. Gen Z is starting to become the big dogs now. We gonna have to run the place. I don't know what we gonna do. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know what I'm doing. We literally don't know what we're doing right now. I could speak for most of us. We don't know what we're doing. We just gonna move until we find something. That's all I could tell you from now. And I'm gonna just leave you with that.